All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We're looking at one of the most explosive controversies in modern sports history. It's a moment where a simple football match completely shattered the boundaries of athletic competition, triggering international geopolitical outrage and a devastating transnational cyber attack. This is the story of the 2026 World Cup clash between Argentina and Egypt. Now, this chilling message, it wasn't yelled by a frustrated coach on the pitch or chanted from the stands. It was actually broadcasted directly from inside the hacked internal servers of the Argentina Football Association by a retaliatory cyber group. It shows us exactly how high the stakes have become and how the feeling of injustice on a soccer field can now instantly weaponize digital vulnerabilities across the globe. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover the World Cup crisis, VAR and disciplinary asymmetry, the anti-racism protocol failure, geopolitics on the pitch, the retaliatory cyber operations, and finally, sports' new digital reality. Let's get into it. Part 1, the World Cup crisis, the match that broke the illusion. So, let's go back to July 7, 2026, in Atlanta. It's defending champions Argentina against knockout stage debutants Egypt in what was supposed to be a standard round of 16 match. But look at these final metrics. There is a glaring statistical anomaly here. Argentina actually committed more fouls than Egypt, 13-11. Yet, despite being the more physical team by the numbers, Argentina walked away with 0 cards, while Egypt got slapped with 4. That massive discrepancy instantly sparked intense allegations of double standards from fans and officials alike. Moving on to Part 2, VAR and disciplinary asymmetry. The numbers behind the outrage? Fans across the globe felt a very visceral sense of unfairness about this. But we don't just have to rely on feelings. We can anchor this in hard data. The disciplinary inequity coefficient formula brilliantly illustrates this. By calculating the ratio of cards to fouls for both teams, this metric objectively proves a massive disparity in how fouls were punished on the field. It wasn't just in the fans' heads. The refereeing was mathematically skewed, laying the groundwork for the explosive fallout. And just watch how this builds to a boiling point. In the 58th minute, a legitimate Egyptian goal that would have put them up 2-0 was erased. VAR officials used a technicality, the attacking possession phase rule, to nullify the goal based on a foul that happened a full 20 seconds prior and 100 yards away. Then, moments before Argentina scored their 92nd minute winning goal, a clear trip on Egyptian captain Mohamed Salah in the penalty box was completely ignored. FIFA justified this as a normal football contact exception, claiming the defender touched the ball first. But for the fans, this was a blatant technical failure of VAR. Section 3. Anti-racism protocol failure. When protection breaks down. This refereeing breakdown went way beyond just gameplay decisions. It actively dismantled FIFA's brand new player protection framework. Back at the 2024 FIFA Congress, they approved the X gesture, crossing your forearms at the wrists. It's an official signal that triggers a mandatory 3-step procedure, requiring referees to halt the match, issue a stadium warning, and potentially abandon the game if racist abuse continues. During this match, Egyptian coach Hassam Hassan was informed by translators of coordinated racist chants, translating to "beat those monkeys." He immediately turned to the officials and properly executed this exact gesture. But here is where the whole system just catastrophically fails. Instead of halting play like he is legally required to do, French referee François Lexier misinterprets the official signal as a tactical touchline protest. He effectively penalizes the victim, booking coach Hassan with a yellow card for unsporting conduct. With that single action, he rendered FIFA's entire anti-discrimination framework functionally obsolete in front of a global audience. Which brings us to Section 4, Geopolitics on the Pitch. A proxy battleground. So why did this specific match explode into such a huge controversy? Well, for many, it became a massive geopolitical flashpoint. The polarized stance literally turned into a proxy battleground for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We saw Egyptian fans waving Palestinian flags to protest global double standards right across from sections of the Argentinian fan base raising Israeli flags. This perfectly mirrored the political alliances of Argentine President Javier Milei, his close ties to U.S. President Donald Trump, and in turn, Trump's ties to FIFA President Gianni Infantino. Because of these dynamics, viewers across the global south saw the arbitration bias not as simple human error, but as a direct reflection of Western institutional dominance. And this feeling of injustice wasn't just isolated to one match. It compounded earlier tournament frustrations. Take the Iranian national team, for example. They faced exhausting U.S. visa travel restrictions that denied them basic recovery time. Then, when Iran had a crucial goal disallowed on the exact same day the U.S. military conducted airstrikes in their region, fans and critics heavily argue that international sports organizations operate with structural hypocrisy, heavily favoring commercially powerful Western-aligned nations. Section 5. The Retaliatory Cyber Operations. The pitch meets the portal. When perceived injustice hits fans this deeply, the reaction doesn't just stay confined to the stadium anymore. It boils right over into cyberspace. It turns out, the Argentine Football Association's IT infrastructure had been sitting exposed for nearly a year. A simple info-stealer malware infected a senior developer's personal device back in September 2025. That created a 10-month digital vulnerability. Threat actors patiently harvested credentials and just waited. The exact moment the controversial match ended on July 7th, they escalated their privileges and struck. The result was a staggering 100% database hack. How on earth does a premier global sporting organization allow this? Simply put, they committed the cardinal sin of cybersecurity, reusing weak, plain-text passwords across their systems. It gave a hacker group dubbed the All-Egyptian Cyber Warriors profound administrative control. They got direct root access to PHP-MyAdmin, the competition management system, historical databases, and even the official mail servers, allowing them to launch their massive retaliatory email campaign directly from legitimate AFA domains. Now, initially, the AFA tried to save face. They downplayed the mass emails as just external spoofing and denied any server breaches. But independent forensic experts at Hudson Rock quickly exposed the real cyber reality. It was a complete digital failure. The hackers had exfiltrated sensitive personal data of AFA staff, club partners, and players, including registration timestamps and contact lists, and put the whole shebang up for sale on dark web cybercrime forums. Finally, Section 6, Sports' New Digital Reality, no longer just a game. We have officially entered a completely unpredictable paradigm where physical and digital arenas collide. In the aftermath, FIFA chairman of referees, Pierluigi Collina, totally defended the officials. And sure, technically, FIFA justified their VAR applications by citing rules like the attacking possession phase, while completely ignoring the geopolitical criticisms. But they totally missed the broader consequence. By dismissing the perceived injustice and ignoring the systemic concerns of the Global South, sports governing bodies are now inadvertently inviting transnational cyber retaliation. The traditional separation of sport and politics has completely dissolved. If sports institutions keep operating with persistent software flaws and perceived disciplinary double standards, they're going to remain highly vulnerable targets. Every uncalled foul or technical error can now literally be the spark for a cyber attack. Governing bodies have to prioritize absolute structural transparency, technological fairness, and serious cybersecurity, because sporting injustice is now a very real digital threat. So, as we reflect on this historic World Cup crisis, I want to leave you with this thought to consider. Can a sport truly remain a neutral global unifier when the pitch is shadowed by proxy wars and the championship scoreboards are vulnerable to a single stolen password? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning what happens behind the scenes.